around why I did this master's, or do you want me to talk about the master's itself?
Masters itself. You shifted again. That's okay. Then slightly.
How do I do that?
No, I will put it.
Acha. When we are doing user testing, why do we not do this?
What?
Need you won't have cut this down. Trying to put his name.
Yeah. Do you think with social media, we've had this conversation before, but the kind of goals people have is sort of changing because everything you do is to sort of have something to show on social media, whether it's work, whether it's personal life, whether it's your hobby.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because I think the more I've thought about this now, the more I'm like, well, to an extent, it was always like that. Social media has just like put everything that we were, like the worst of humanity, on drugs, is what I think social media has managed to do. Like, just exacerbated all of the problems. But this whole thing of like, you know, that quote of we're all just spending our lives trying to buy things we don't like to please people we don't like.
Don't like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that has been around
yeah.
since like what, way before social media. So I think it's always been that, and it's just become a lot more exasperated because of like Instagram culture.
Fair
But
enough.
do you see it in your like?
Yeah, unfortunately, as a photographer, I need to be on social
Yeah.
media. I know how to shoot a space, make it look good,
Yeah.
but what you see is not what is. Um, unfortunately, that is what the reality is.
Yeah.
Now, people who do not know that
Yeah.
can easily be influenced by what they see and they think that's real. And I feel a lot of people who are I mean, yeah, I'm going to receive a lot of flack for this, but I think a lot of designs that are done these days are to sort of look good in pictures. And that's the main concept behind whatever they're doing. So it's not a space that they're designing, but it's that one frame.
Yeah.
So I feel like the concept of designing or the idea behind how we do things has been watered down to what is essentially seen.
Yeah.
And I feel like people are losing because we're also Pinteresting a lot, right?
Yeah.
Even our references that we show clients are from Pinterest. So we're telling them essentially that this is how this corner is going to look.
Yeah.
This is how that is going to look. We're not coming in with like this coherent design
Yeah.
for like with proper reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would also, on the other hand, say that okay, clients are also wanting these things.
Yeah.
So it's not only the architect. But I just feel like uh, it's a very different world from what we saw when we were students.
Yeah.
And it, I know we can be naive and dream. Uh,
We were. I mean, I think architecture school is very different from architecture practice. But I think I would still say that, like, I haven't been an architect since the time of social media. I mean, not that social media didn't exist, but it wasn't this
not
wild
to this level.
back in the day. But even at that point of time, right? Because, like I said, the people who I was designing for were normally like these really wealthy people who were vacationing abroad. So their wants would be stuff that they had seen in like Europe.
Yeah.
And they would be like, I want my entire like kitchen to be Italian marble. And we would be like, what? And they would be like, yeah, fly it in. Like, I can afford to pay for it. So why not? And we made a case for like a local marble one time. And they were like, listen, we're going to have guests over and they're going to ask me what marble that is. And I cannot say like some Indian marble. So I'm going to have you fly in Italian marble. That's one of my moments where I was just like, what am I doing with my life? But yeah, so this whole like we have to show a certain image and a certain perception has always been there, even before Instagram. And the whole dilution of architecture, I guess, has always been there on some level. It's just a lot more now.
Now we'll come to this question that we have for you as a service designer. Um, if the Ministry of Magic held an architectural, or not architectural, held a design competition post the Voldemort era to rebuild the Wizarding World, how would you do it?
Well, that is kind of what I do, because I work for the government, and a lot of my job is making sure that we're designing the government and the way people interact with the government in a way that is inclusive, and it is,
In terms of Harry Potter.
yeah, so that's what I would basically take the same skills and do it there and make it inclusive and accessible there for people who are, and I would work with like, so a lot of what we do is also co-creation. So I would work with wizards, and if we are in this world, including non-wizards to come into this.
Maybe, yeah, because they exist,
Yeah,
coexist.
in Ministry of Magic, I think you would want a little bit more of like input from muggles as well. You know, like how does the muggle
The way
government?
you said muggles, like, can I say
Yeah,
muggles?
it's really like, is this a bad word? No, no, no. I am a muggle. I can say it.
Like, would you hire Umbridge?
I would not hire Umbridge. No.
So, like, in terms of interspecies cooperation, how would you go about that?
I would co-design stuff. Like I would bring in representatives to represent different different species, and co-design how they want to live together and work together. It's okay if you don't want to be super involved in the wizarding world as well, as I'm guessing how have I forgotten names of everything?
The
The
centaurs.
centaurs, as I'm guessing the centaurs would not want to be like, living day to day with us, and that's fine. They can do their own thing, but I want to know how much would they want to, how would they want to interact with.
So it's like spew, kind of.
Yeah, but spew was more of like an activism thing. It was like elf lives matter. I also think
They
that I would want to work with the Department of Education. I hope there is one in the Ministry of Magic, and fully change how Hogwarts worked, because I'm not a fan of Dumbledore and his teaching methods. Not that I'm a fan of Umbridge. There was one time where I was designing a kitchen. That was my only job. We were only looking at the kitchen. Um, and we designed most of the stuff that was going to go on in the kitchen from a functional perspective. And I had this last meeting with the client to sort of discuss what sort of paneling she wanted on the cabinets. And she dead ass said leather. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I want all the kitchen cabinets to be leather. I was like,
Did you mean leather laminate by any chance, or leather
so
leather?
she said so at the time she was like, I just wanted to look like leather. So we did then do leather laminate. But yeah.
I read through the description that's there on the website about design innovation, and I'm like, what?
I don't know.
Honestly, I went to work and read like 5 times, and I'm like, okay, I'm either really, really dumb. I'm not able to figure out what this is.
Okay, so I did go into it completely unprepared. What I knew was that it was interdisciplinary, and a lot of it focused on like research. That's all I knew. And I was happy with that. And for me, I had started to feel like the output shouldn't be restricted to the tangible. So I wanted to explore more avenues of design that is beyond the tangible, and I think that's what I knew design innovation was going to give me.
Okay. I would like to ask you a random question now. If your design style were a type of bread, what would it be?
Interesting question. What would it be? I really want to say Sourdough? Because.
Of
What do you mean, of course? Why is that of
I
course?
kind of expected it. I expected that, but because
Because, like sourdough, I think that the type of design and the type of industry I work in right now, it is a labor of love, and it takes a lot of time and effort put into it for it to become something. And the other thing is that it is healthier and better. Even if it doesn't look as nice as some of the other fancy bread, it is better for you on the inside, but you will also
I
find
see.
cheap knockoffs that will not do the same thing.
Mhm. Nicely put.
Why did you think I was gonna say sourdough?
I just had a feeling because I know you too well.
Yes, you do know me.
But what was it for this answer that you just gave us?